Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Toned In Entertainment, where we love pop culture. Today, it's time for another movie look back. Now, many times here on the channel, I've talked about how much I loved WCW growing up. I stuck with them through all the great times, the weird times, and yes, even the bad times. I was with WCW to the very end, to WWE, bought them out, and I would defend them tooth and nail. But there are some things I just can't defend, and that leads us to our movie look back today. Ready to rumble. The movie stars David Arquette as Grody Boggs, Scott Kane as Sean Dawkins, Oliver Platt as Jimmy King, Rose McGowan as Sasha, Joe Pantoliano as Titus Sinclair, as well as a slew of WCW wrestlers who play themselves, including Goldberg, DDP, Sting, Rey Mysterio, and Macho Man Randy Savage, just to name a few. And the movie was directed by Brian Ronan. Now, the current WCW champion, and I use that term with great discern here, Jimmy King, gets screwed out of his championship on an episode of Monday Night Nitro against Diamond Dallas Page, with the general manager, Titus Sinclair, pulling some shots, doing some sneaky stuff, and screwing the champ over. And it's up to our heroes, again, I need to find a better term, Grody and Sean, to help the King get his belt back. Now, our two protagonists work as septic tank cleaners. Yes, their job is to clean up shit. Yeah, it's a really nice metaphor for this movie. Maybe they should have hired these two guys to actually look at the script. Maybe they could have cleaned this crap up. But knowing them, they would have screwed it up somehow anyways. Now let's get back to our champion here, Jimmy King. Has there ever been a less believable champion? Well, other than maybe Vince Russo, but they do a pretty good runner-up job here with Oliver Platt as Jimmy King. There's so many great WCW wrestlers in this movie, from Booker T to Rey Mysterio to Sting, all guys that are legitimate champions, and yet they put the title on this guy. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It angers me, actually. Jimmy King, WCW champion? Give me David. Well, let's not do that. Now, I've watched Ready to Rumble once in my life, and I should have stuck with that, because rewatching this movie, man, it was just painful, if not cringeworthy. There's a part where Sean has headphones on and he's singing Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time. And let's not forget about this mess where they're hitchhiking with some nuns and they start singing Dancing with the Devil. I mean, if the movie wasn't bad enough already, it just kind of keeps taking it up one step at a time. It just keeps getting worse. Now, as if the acting and the story isn't bad enough here in Ready to Rumble, the movie also suffers from an identity crisis. Now, we all know that wrestling is sports entertainment in 2020, and we all knew that wrestling was sports entertainment when this stinker was released back in 2001, but here in the movie, they kind of go back and forth, even with the same character, Jimmy King, saying, you know, he'll call out moves with DDP and then talk about how he's gonna have his real fight to get his title back. Like, you know it's sports entertainment, but yet at sometimes it's real, at sometimes it's not. David Arquette is yelling, wrestling's not fake, but yet they believe that wrestling is scripted. The movie doesn't make no sense. Why am I trying to make sense of Ready to Rumble? Okay, I'm gonna give the movie one positive. They did introduce this 3-tower cage, which is pretty cool, and they do put it to use in the movie, and they do use it in a future episode of WCW. So, one positive for Ready to Rumble. Now, do I recommend Ready to Rumble? Absolutely not. I don't know one person who I could recommend this movie to. Wrestling fans especially. It downright insults its core fan base. I think, well, maybe there is one person I can recommend this to. Maybe a film student in learning how not to insult your core fan base while making a movie. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I was a huge WCW fan, and I did go see this movie in the theaters, and when I left, I was just insulted. I was shaking my head. I was disgusted on how much a movie can insult its own core fan base. They make wrestling fans just look like the biggest losers on the planet, and that's like the one thing you don't want to do, is insult your own fan base while making a movie. So there's nothing redeeming here about WCW. Plus, it led to one of the worst storylines of all time, and that was David Arquette winning the WCW title. So they tied this horrible movie in to a horrible storyline that pretty much led to the the fall of WCW. So I blame this movie for a lot of things. It sucks, it's terrible, and nobody should ever watch this movie, ever. Alright guys, if you're enjoying these movie lookbacks, I've got 2 videos for you next week as I look at Mortal Kombat and, yeah, even Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Now, it's been a long time since I've watched Annihilation, so I'm gonna rewatch it. I haven't rewatched it yet. I just got it off Netflix, you know, the disc actually. It's the only way I could get it for free because I really didn't want to pay to rent or buy this movie for the review. So I'm gonna take a look at this movie and see if it's as bad as I remember. Plus, next week, it's a full week of Mortal Kombat videos, so I've got a few surprises, including a special Mortal Kombat Funko Pop video coming as well. Alright guys, make sure you subscribe here to Toned In Entertainment for all those future videos. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.